For the same diameter and thickness of tube, a water tube boiler has heating surface as compared to fire tube boiler. A more, B less, C equal, D. The correct answer is more. Throttle governing of steam engines is a method of controlling the engine output by varying A. Volume of intake steam, B. Pressure of intake steam, C. Temperature of intake steam, D. All of these. The correct answer is pressure of intake steam. In a double-acting steam engine, the steam is admitted on one side of the piston and two working strokes are produced during each revolution of the crankshaft. A. Yes, B. No, C, D. The correct answer is no. Cornish boilers are multi-tubular boilers. A. True, B. False, C, D. The correct answer is false. Expansion ratio is the ratio of A. Swept volume to the volume at cutoff, B. Clearance volume to the swept volume, C. Volume at cutoff to the swept volume, D. Swept volume to the clearance volume. The correct answer is swept volume to the volume at cutoff. In cross-compounding, the cylinders are arranged A. side by side and each cylinder has common piston connecting rod and crank, B. side by side and each cylinder has separate piston connecting rod and crank, C. at 90 and each cylinder has common piston connecting rod and crank, D. at 90 and each cylinder has separate piston connecting rod and crank. The correct answer is side by side and each cylinder has separate piston connecting rod and crank. The motion of a D-slide valve in a steam engine is simple harmonic. A. Yes, B. No, C, D. The correct answer is yes. A device used in a boiler to control the flow of steam from the boiler to the main pipe and to shut off the steam completely when required is known as A. blow-off cork, B. fusible plug, C. superheater, D. stop valve. The correct answer is stop valve. A single-ended Scotch marine steam boiler may have 1 to 4 furnaces which enter from front end of the boiler. A. correct, B. incorrect, C, D. The correct answer is correct. The high steam and low water safety valve is used to blow off steam when the A. steam pressure exceeds the working pressure, B. water level in the boiler becomes too low, C. both A and B, D. none of the above. The correct answer is both A and B. In a tandem-type compound engine, the high-pressure and low-pressure cylinders A. have common piston rod, B. are set at 90, C. have separate piston rods, D. are set in V arrangement. The correct answer is have common piston rod. Lancashire boiler is a stationary fire tube boiler. A. agree, B. disagree, C, D. The correct answer is agree. Lancashire boiler is used where working pressure and power required are A. low, B. moderate, C. high, D. none of these. The correct answer is moderate. The amount of water evaporated or steam produced in kg per kg of fuel burnt is termed as evaporative capacity of a boiler. A. agree, B. disagree, C, D. The correct answer is agree. In a compound steam engine, the temperature range per cylinder is reduced with corresponding reduction in the condensation. A. correct, B. incorrect, C, D. The correct answer is correct. The cylinder condensation or missing quantity may be reduced by A. the efficient steam jacketing of the cylinder walls, B. superheating the steam supplied to the engine cylinder, C. Keeping the expansion ratio small in each cylinder. D. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. The actual vacuum in a condenser is equal to A. Barometric pressure actual pressure. B. Barometric pressure actual pressure. C. Gauge pressure atmospheric pressure. D. Gauge pressure atmospheric pressure. The correct answer is barometric pressure actual pressure. The function of a superheater is to heat the feed water by utilizing the heat in the exhaust flue gases before leaving through the chimney. A. Yes. B. No. C. D. The correct answer is no. Williams line follows the law where B a constant representing the shape of the Williams line, another constant i.e. no load consumption per hour I. P. Indicated power and M steam consumption per hour. A I. P. A X M B. B M A B X I. P. C I. P. B X M A. D M B I. P. A. The correct answer is MABXI. P. The selection of type and size of a steam boiler depends upon A. The power required and working pressure. B. The geographical position of the powerhouse. C. The fuel and water available. D. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. The maximum steam pressure in a locomotive boiler is limited to A. 0.18 m and m2, B. 1.8 m and m2, C. 18 main m2, D. 180 main m2. The correct answer is 1.8 m and m2. The high pressure and low pressure cylinders in a receiver type compound engine are regarded as having cranks A. 180 to each other, B. 90 to each other, C. 0 to each other, D. None of these. The correct answer is 90 to each other. The main object of a boiler trial is A. To determine the generating capacity of the boiler, B. To determine the thermal efficiency of the boiler when working at a definite pressure, C. To prepare heat balance sheet for the boiler, D. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. The artificial draught is produced by A. Steam jet, B. Centrifugal fan, C. Chimney, D. Both A and B. The correct answer is both A and B. The draught is the of pressures above and below the fire grate. A. Sum, B. Difference, C. D. The correct answer is difference. The water tubes in a Babcock and Wilcox boiler are A. Vertical, B. Horizontal, C. Inclined, D. The correct answer is inclined. In case of condensing steam engines, the pressure of steam in the cylinder during exhaust stroke is the atmospheric pressure. A. Equal to, B. Lower than, C. Higher than, D. The correct answer is higher than. Blow of coke in a boiler is used to A. Control the flow of steam from the boiler to the main pipe and to shut off the steam completely when required. B. Empty the boiler when required and to discharge the mud scale or sediments which are accumulated at the bottom of the boiler. C. Put off fire in the furnace of the boiler when the level of water in the boiler falls to an unsafe limit. D. Increase the temperature of saturated steam without raising its pressure. The correct answer is empty the boiler when required and to discharge the mud scale or sediments which are accumulated at the bottom of the boiler. The cut-off ratio is the reciprocal of expansion ratio. A. Correct, B. Incorrect, C. D. The correct answer is correct. In a receiver-type compound engine, the high-pressure and low-pressure cylinders A. have common piston rod, B. are set at 90, C. Have separate piston rods. D. Are set in V arrangement. The correct answer is have separate piston rods. The damper in a steam boiler is provided to control the draught, i.e. rate of flow of air, and thus regulate the rate of generation of steam. A. Correct. B. Incorrect. C. D. The correct answer is correct. The clearance in the engine cylinder. A. Increases the mean effective pressure. B. Increases the work done. C. Decreases the efficiency of the engine. D. All of these. The correct answer is all of these. Which of the following is not a boiler mounting? A. Blow-off cork. B. Feed check valve. C. Economizer. D. Fusible plug. The correct answer is economizer. The ratio of the clearance volume to the swept volume is called A. Cut-off ratio. B. Expansion ratio. C. Clearance ratio. D. None of these. The correct answer is clearance ratio. The air pressure at the fuel bed is reduced below that of atmosphere by means of a fan placed at or near the bottom of the chimney to produce a draught. Such a draught is called A. Natural draught. B. Induced draught. C. Forced draught. D. Balanced draught. The correct answer is induced draught. The locomotive boiler has A. 137 fire tubes and 44 superheated tubes. B. 147 fire tubes and 34 superheated tubes. C. 157 fire tubes and 24 superheated tubes. D. 167 fire tubes and 14 superheated tubes. The correct answer is 157 fire tubes and 24 superheated tubes. The shell of the Cochrane boiler is made hemispherical. A. To give maximum space and strength. B. To withstand the pressure of steam inside the boiler. C. Both A and B. D. None of the above. The correct answer is both A and B. A. In a boiler is used to put off fire in the furnace of the boiler when the level of water in the boiler falls to an unsafe limit. A. Blow-off cork. B. Fusible plug. C. Stop valve. D. Safety valve. The correct answer is fusible plug. Williams' law holds good for throttle-governed engine but not for cut-off governed engine. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is true. Which of the following is required for a steam condensing plant? A. Condenser. B. Condensate pump. C. Air extraction pump. D. All of these. The correct answer is all of these. The missing quantity is mainly due to cylinder condensation and a small amount of steam leakage past the valves and piston. A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. D. The correct answer is agree. There is always some steam left in the clearance space from the previous stroke. This steam left in the clearance space is called A. Wet steam. B. Saturated steam. C. Superheated steam. D. Cushion steam. The correct answer is cushion steam. The ratio of the volume at cutoff to the swept volume is called A. Cutoff ratio. B. Expansion ratio. C. Clearance ratio. D. None of these. The correct answer is cutoff ratio. The function of a D-slide valve is to exhaust steam from the cylinder at proper moment. A. Correct. B. Incorrect. C. D. The correct answer is correct. The mechanical draught produces more draught than natural draught. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is true. The water tube boilers produce steam at a pressure than that of fire tube boilers. A. Lower. B. Higher. C. D. The correct answer is higher. The mechanical draught with the amount of smoke. A. Increases. B. Decreases. C. Does not affect. D. The correct answer is decreases. When the expansion of steam is carried out in a single cylinder and then exhausted into the atmosphere or a condenser, the engine is said to be a simple steam engine. A. Correct. B. Incorrect. C. D. The correct answer is correct.